repair shop today. A test of strength for Brenton.
I'm just going to try and push this up and see if I can straighten this with my thumb.
As he strives to restore a pair of candlesticks blasted in the Blitz.
Of course I can't. That's much more difficult than I thought it was going to be.
And Dom takes a leap of faith to solve a mechanical mystery.
The problem is, I can't really test this until the whole jack is built. Until then, I've got no idea if any of this work is actually going to fix the jack.
First, a blast from the past for fine art conservator Lucia Scalisi.
I think I know where this is.
What, the actual landscape?
Yeah.
This painting has been sent ahead by Nonny Jackson-Twist from Birkenhead.
Hi there.
Are you okay?
You okay? Nice to see you. I'm Dom. Lovely to meet you.
Hi.
So, this must be your beautiful painting.
Yeah, it was my granddad's, Frederick Alexander Twist from Farmouth in Bolton. And
This doesn't look like Bolton.
no.
It's definitely not Bolton.
No, he painted it at the end of the Second World War. I think it's Lebanon somewhere.
Yeah, it's the hills above Beirut,
Okay.
overlook the
Right.
hot city.
Yeah.
I work there, so I know
really?
the land. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Yeah.
What was your granddad doing going from Bolton? What was he doing in Beirut?
Well, he was in the Royal Signals, and he was stationed in the Middle East. And then the end of the war came, and he went skiing in the mountains, where he fell and he broke his leg.
Oh, no.
He got rescued by a Bedouin tribe, he told us. Then they took him back to his army base. He couldn't go back to England in a truck with a broken leg, so he was kept in one of the embassies while his leg recovered. And because he was an artist, he decided to paint the view from his terrace.
What year are we talking about?
1945.
Right.
Yeah.
Was he trained or as a kid? Or?
He must have been trained. He went on to become an art teacher
Okay.
in Farmouth and Manchester. Yeah, and he painted big friezes in the churches. Quite a talented artist, yeah.
Yeah. How did he get his hands on a canvas?
We got some of his friends to go and cut some canvas off an old truck that was abandoned, and then he mounted it on an easel.
It's like a tarpaulin,
Yeah,
I suppose. I can see your face lighting up, Nonny,
Oh,
when
yeah.
you look at
yeah.
this.
Yeah. So probably some of my fondest memories of my granddad talking about this. Every Saturday, this would be up in his parlour, and that's when he would tell us a story about it. And that was probably one of his happiest memories of that period, because obviously during the war he'd seen a lot of his friends, losing their lives, etc. And this was a time of peace and of reflection.
Yeah, and contemplating on the beauty of it all, despite what he'd been through. Yeah.
He didn't really like talking about the war. He was sent to the front line a lot to signal where they should be dropping the bombs, etc. He said out of the 80 people that signed up, 8 came back.
Out of 80?
Out of 80, only 8. And he was one of them, so incredibly lucky. And then at the end of it, when he was coming home, he just nailed it to this piece of wood, rolled it up, and put it in his backpack and
Off he
brought
goes.
it back. I mean, it breaks my heart now to see it in this state. I feel like it's damage that I've allowed to happen to it, I've had it rolled up in storage, not realising that's not been the best thing for it. So if it could get back to some of its former glory, it would be wonderful. I'd love to get it on display in the house again, Talk to my kids about it, so his legacy can live on.
How exciting. Ooh, there's more to find out. I'm sort of getting a little bit of a tingle.
It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for bringing this in.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Thanks, Nonny.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
The painting, it puts me back in touch with my granddad, and I'm hoping that connection can carry on with my children and my grandchildren, if ever I get any, and I can explain to them what he achieved. Yeah, what a lovely man he was.
It's incredible.
It's a very damaged painting. There's a lot of work to do on it, but the process initially will be securing this so there's no further loss to it.
Okay.
Before I actually start trying to bring it back into plane.
By bringing it back into plane, you mean when you look down the side of this now, it's literally like a mountain range.
Yeah, but I think the fact that it just brings back for me so many memories of my very happy life in Beirut, and I can smell the mountain air.
Aww.
It's just wonderful.
This is going to be a fun one for you then.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I look forward to seeing how you get on with it.
OK.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All
Thanks,
right.
Dom. I'm
I'm hoping that this batten will come off quite readily. Well, that one's hanging off. I know that Nonny said his grandfather brought it back sort of wrapped around this batten, so we're going to save the batten, but I'm not going to use it again. Ooh, it's coming off. My anticipation is to get this beautifully flat, all the tears repaired, back on a new stretcher, cleaned and looking wonderful. But initially, I'm going to start protecting these edges where the paint is flaking. This consolidant is a modern synthetic adhesive, and it has really good properties in that it flows under the lifting paint and it will hold the flakes in place. And then I just use a spatula to dry it off a little bit. I've got quite a bit to do, but once this painting is completely restored, I'm hoping that you won't know I've been anywhere near it.
Wonder what Jay's got for us.
I don't know. Have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Lisa Sachs from Lancashire has high hopes of reigniting a weekly family ritual with the help of expert silversmith Brenton West.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there. I'm Kirsten. Lovely to meet you.
Kirsten. Nice to meet you too.
What have you got in the box?
I've bought some silver Shabbat candlesticks.
What does Shabbat mean, please?
It's a Jewish Sabbath. We would light these candles on a Friday evening when you sit and have your family meal to welcome in the weekend.
And how did you get these candlesticks?
They were given to me by my mother, and they actually belonged to my grandparents originally, Dinah and Alf. They lived in Bow,
Right.
proper EastEnders. In the Blitz, my grandparents' house was bombed out. When my grandmother went back to the house afterwards to see what she could recover, the mantelpiece was still in place, in situ, and the candlesticks were there, and she recovered them. And they've got a large dent in them here, which is from the shrapnel from the bomb.
How long do you think that these have been in the family?
My mum thinks that they were gifted as a wedding present. So they're probably coming up for about 100 years old.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
So when you were young, did your parents light the candles on a Friday night?
Every single Friday. And for my mum to have given them to me, they've obviously meant something to her.
And the fact that Alf and Dina got them from the rubble, they meant a lot to them as well.
Absolutely.
Do you think that your grandparents would be quite proud that these have carried on through the family?
I think they'd be thrilled, actually, to know that they're still around, that they're going to be used and have been used. Yeah, they definitely would.
Does Mum know you've brought these in?
Yeah, my mum does know. Her name's Estelle. She would have loved to have been able to come with me today. Yeah, she'll be keen to know what happens to them and how they end up looking. You know, they are quite bashed. There's quite a lot of damage to the top of where the actual candles go in. They're quite dented, dirty. They don't sit properly. I do think the main dent, which ties in with the shrapnel story, I think I'd probably quite like that left as is.
And what made you bring them to us now?
It's actually our silver wedding this year. We just thought it would be nice to sort of tie in silver candlesticks with our silver wedding anniversary. I would try and reinstate Friday night dinner with the candlesticks taking centre stage, and yeah, I very much look forward to doing that again. And I sort of love them as they really should be.
Really lovely idea, yeah. Thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing your family history, and I'm sure Brenton will do his very best.
Pleasure. Lovely to have met you.
OK.
See you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Since the candlesticks were damaged in the war, this would definitely be the first time that they've had any attention. They symbolise continuity, faith, and really they symbolise family mostly.
I didn't look at them too closely when Lisa brought them in, but now I've got them on my bench, they've had a heck of a bashing. So this bottom is meant to be level with this part here. And also one of them is leaning over like that, and that's because it's so low on this side. So the bases are bad. The tops, these are pretty bad. It may or may not repair because there's some lead solder in here. Lead, if you heat it up too hot, burns the silver away like an acid. And in the top here, some sort of cement or something was put in there. Luckily, it's not too hard, so I'm going to scrape this out. But the first thing I'm going to do is to give them a good polish to generally make them look a lot nicer.
Also hoping for a nicer, brighter finish is Lucia, as she gives the faded Lebanese landscape a much-needed clean.
Oh, look at that. That is really quite dramatic. I'm doing a surface clean. I'm using water with a 1% solution of ammonia in it. That is literally dirt. Just years of grime and dirt. It's going to look wonderful. It's going to look absolutely wonderful. I mean, these are the best times for me, honestly. Because I can work so closely, all sorts of little things are being revealed. There's a lady here hanging out the washing. So she's appeared. This is so exciting. I can only imagine when Alexander was painting this, he's seeing things that obviously are bringing beauty and tranquility to him. I'm going to really enjoy cleaning this one. It's going to bring some happy memories for me, sort of spending time in the mountain areas just above Beirut when it got so hot. This is where people escaped to. It was so fresh, and, you know, the hillside smelt of eucalyptus and sage and thyme. It was beautiful. Look how great that is. It really is an absolute thrill to do it. I think Nonny's going to be blown away. Now I'm dampening the table. I want the back of the canvas to take up some of this moisture, to relax, in the hope that I'll be able to flatten it. I'm going to slide the canvas off the release paper onto the damp table. So I've got some beautiful watercolour paper. I've cut them very specifically. They're now expanded. They're at their widest point. When they dry, that will shrink and it will pull the canvas out. Now that the paper's around the edge, I have to attach the paper to the painting. And I use paper tape, which if there's too much water, that's obviously going to be a disaster. If you have too much water and it starts to soak through, it's going to damage the paint layer. It could detach the paint layer from the canvas, you know, the ground. But see, it's actually going down. I can feel it. It's a happy canvas. The next stage of relaxation is when this is on a stretcher. But at this point, this is quite critical, and I just need to keep my eye on it the whole time. You know, it's just that it's water and canvas, and the two kind of don't really like each other. It's getting the balance, really. I'm really pleased with how this is going. I'm working on these long tears now, and I'm patching them. They're not invisible patches, but they're transparent. They're really strong, and they're made of the non-woven fabric, and I attach to it my fantastic heat seal adhesive, and it will hold the tear together. So I have my hot spatula, and I tack it on just to get it in position. And then I use my release paper, and this will actually activate the adhesive and seal the tear. It will hold the tear together beautifully. I've just started my retouching and I'm blocking in the large areas of loss, and I'm using acrylics, and at the moment I'm really pleased. I've got a great colour match on the tiles of the roof. I'm using alizarin crimson and I've toned it down with a bit of burnt umber to make it browner, and a little bit of ivory black just to darken it. But you can see I've got quite a lot to do, so I'll be doing a lot of mixing of different colours. Once this is done, I'll then go back and do the retouching proper, and all the details will go in.
Outside, more visitors. Bev Smith and daughter Georgie from Bognor Regis are hoping metalwork maestro Dom Chania can lift their spirits by resurrecting a quirky childhood delight.
Hiya.
Hiya.
Are you okay? Is this your Jack?
It is.
It is.
My goodness, you're taking me back to my childhood with this. Why have you got this?
It belonged to my granddad, ironically named Jack Matthews.
Brilliant, of course.
Why wouldn't he be? So it was his car Jack way back in the 1950s on a caravan site that my nan and granddad ran. Granddad was very much the kind of function of it. And
The handyman and doing
Exactly.
out and about.
Yeah.
Exactly, there was nothing he couldn't do, really.
This is a big old Jack. It's a proper, serious piece of equipment.
That's
Yeah.
right. He used to lift caravans and pump the jack, and then I'd put the legs down on the caravan.
Right.
And I used to get in and be told to stand in the middle, and then I used to run backwards and forwards
Oh,
and
no.
treat it like a seesaw. And I always had a ride on the end of the jack.
But pumped up the handle.
Yeah, Dad would pump up the handle and
Oh.
I'd stand on and he'd give me a ride up and down.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's my memory of it.
Did you live on the caravan site?
Yeah, we
or-
did. I was born there and I lived there all through, so I had an amazing childhood.
That must have been such fun.
Totally, yes. Yeah, just magical memories. 9 acres of playground, really, and an endless supply of friends to play with, and my mum and dad there and my 2 sisters.
So your dad, Jack, tell me a bit about him. What was he like?
He would help anybody. He was very much loved by everybody, really, and yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's actually 30 years this year since we lost him.
I'm so sorry. Did you ever get to meet him?
I did, yeah.
you? Okay.
Yeah, I was 6 when he passed away.
Oh.
The things he made us were just incredible. Wendy houses, dolls' houses, train sets. My brother had a Postman Pat van. Clearly loved us to bits and would do anything for us, including making all those amazing toys. We didn't have him for long enough, but I'm just lucky that I had those times, really.
Short time, but at least you got to see
Yeah, exactly that.
But this still survives. So
Yeah, we
tell me
do.
about this. Why did you keep hold of the Jack?
I don't know, it's just this attachment to it, because I think it's the only actual item that I've got, apart from photographs and memories.
Yeah.
And I just can't part with it.
It just felt appropriate, perhaps this year, more than ever, to look at it and see if we can do something.
Do you know if it still works?
I think it's a little bit temperamental. It's just very sad. I just remember it as a quite bright red and a white handle. And
Is that how you'd like to see it again?
I think so, yes.
Like Jack would have been using it?
Yes, rather
Yeah.
than how we've let it deteriorate, sadly.
OK.
Yeah.
So if I can get this working again, what's the plan?
We can't put it on the mantelpiece, that's for sure. But we talked about whether we make a feature of it.
And just enjoy looking at it and talking about it,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for bringing this Jack in. This is going to be an absolute dream.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye. I think the Jack symbolises my childhood, spent at the caravan park with my parents, and it was just the most magical childhood I could have had.
To see it bright and beautiful again would be quite incredible, and something that my granddad would have been proud of, because he was meticulous in how he kept things.
Now, I know this Jack is full of memories for Bev and Georgie, but to be honest, it's just taking me back to my childhood as well. I've spent many, many hours and hours out on my parents' front drive with my brothers, messing around with cars with as almost identical jack. So getting the chance to handle one and actually fully restore one is a really nice thing for me. As far as the actual restoration, I've got to deal with the cosmetics. Every single surface is covered in rust. I'm going to have to repaint it all. I know that it does pump up and down, but as soon as you try and lift up any weight with that, it won't hold the weight. So I need to get all these cover plates off so I can see what I'm actually working with. OK, here we go. Ah, here we go. Right. This is first cover plate coming off. My goodness, I think nobody's had this cover off for a very long time. Goodness me. Who knows what I'm going to find in here. Right, what's it looking like under here? I've got levers and bars and rods and springs. The hydraulic mechanism is actually hidden amongst all of that. So there is a lot under here that I need to try and work my way through, try and remove. This is going to be a big job.
As Dom prepares to prove his mettle, Brenton's making headway restoring the shine to the Shabbat candlesticks.
This is a silver polish in a very soft cotton wool type wadding, and this gets the tarnish off and polishes the silver without wearing it away too much. But every time you polish, you're taking a tiny bit of the silver off, and some very fine engraving on here. This could be gone if it had been polished a lot in its earlier years. That looks lovely. So all I've got to do is polish these, and then I've got to get them straight. That's the most difficult bit. Looking at this candlestick, I can see it's leaning over a bit. You can see that the top is all over the place. The candlestick has had an impact on top which has bent it into the base, and what I need to do is to bend that base back down so that it's flat by putting an opposing force on the other side of the metal. We had the name tin bashers at art college because if you came into the silversmithing department, all you could hear was people hammering stuff, and it was a very noisy place to be. That's it. Let's have a look. That looks great. Apart from the top, where this cement type stuff is in there, which is slightly bent. So I'm going to dig this cement out of here and just try and straighten this last bit at the top up. That's come out of there quite easily, and I'm just going to try and push this up and see if I can straighten this with my thumb. Of course I can't. That's much more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Damn and blast. I believed when I took the cement out of it that I'd be able to just push it back into shape with my thumb. Unfortunately, the metal is too thick and too strong for me to do that. So I've had to make a former which I could put inside the candlestick. I could hit the outside of it and it will bring it back into shape and make it round again. So that's coming on quite well. I just have to work a little bit more on this to get it level, and then I can start working on these sconces, which are in very, very poor condition. I've taken the cone out of the domed part of the sconce and I've managed to straighten the domed part out on a piece of brass, and I've decided to try and save this cone part because it's actually got a little hallmark in the bottom. To attach those two together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it to a strengthening ring, and this fits into this hole and makes like a moulded top like it should have had originally. And then the original candle holder goes in underneath. And I'm going to solder the whole lot together in one go. Just have to let that cool down, and I can clean it up and polish it and see if it fits in the candlestick.
Suze?
Oh,
There you
this
go.
is lovely. Any biscuits?
Maybe later.
Lucia is in the final stages of returning the 1945 Lebanese landscape back to its picturesque best.
I'm actually retouching now with the synthetic resins and my dry pigments after having put the base coats in. So I'm working around this area where there's a lady on the balcony. I don't actually have to do too much to her directly, but if I build up the area around her, it's almost like she'll appear. So just keeping it fairly minimal. I didn't anticipate the extent of the colour of this painting. I didn't think it was going to be so joyous, so brilliant, and it really is. I'll just finish these last areas of small retouchings, and then it will be ready to go back to Nonny. I can't wait.
This painting arrived at the barn faded and torn. Captured by Nonny's grandfather, Frederick, during a period of recuperation and reflection at the end of the Second World War, Nonny's back to reclaim it.
I'm hoping that Lucia has been able to rescue the painting from the condition it was in, because I'm hoping that I can put the painting on display in my house again and tell the story of my granddad. Yeah, keep his memory alive through his painting. Hi.
Hi, Nonny.
Hi,
Lovely
how are you?
to see you again. Yeah,
And
really
you
good.
too.
Good.
How you doing, Nonny? You all right?
Hello. Jay, is it?
Yeah, that's me. Give it his chance. So how you feeling?
Oh, excited. Very excited, yeah. And I was worried that it was going to fall apart. So I can't wait to see what you've done.
Well, the chair, do you want to do the honours?
Wow. Oh, wow. Wow, and the detail now. Colours. Wow. Filling up now. That is brilliant. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The sky just... Wow. Where's all the tears gone?
You can't see him, can you?
No.
And you're looking quite close. I
No.
can't see him.
Looking at this now, I never realised how talented an artist he actually was.
There's a lady here. She's hanging the washing out.
Oh, gosh, yes.
It's a painting that'll just keep on giving. The more you
Yeah.
look at it, the more you'll see. It's such a wonderful thing.
That is incredible. That's going to take pride of place, that. Yeah. And everyone who comes to the house is going to see it. It's just come to life. Yeah, I want to go there now. You know? Thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure. It really has been
Right.
an absolute treat and a little trip down memory lane for me.
Yeah. I'm not going to stop grinning for a week. I know. I can't express enough my gratitude. Yeah. Brilliant.
You can have your stick back. We don't want that, all right?
Oh, excellent.
Okay.
Oh, the original stick.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
see you soon.
Goodbye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Absolutely over the moon. It's just way, way, way beyond what I was expecting. Taken back in time, as if you're back there with my granddad at his side, having a cup of coffee with him and seeing the world as he saw it. It's incredible.
As one repair comes to an end, another is getting off the ground. Having removed the car jack's rusty casing, ready for sandblasting, Dom's investigating why the hydraulic mechanism has lost its lift.
So this is kind of the end of the piston that once you crank the handle, this would then move up and down like that. And that small movement there over the length of that arm on the jack gets transferred into a lift of like almost 2 foot. So I've got a feeling that that rubber seal may well be the problem, because if that's gone a bit hard and left a gap between the edge of that and the inside of the bore, the oil can pass between it, down that little gap down the side, the whole thing won't work. So I'll replace anything like that that's got a chance of being perished. The problem is I can't actually really test this until the whole jack is built. Until then, I've got no idea if any of this work is actually going to fix the jack. So I think I'm going to have to delve a little bit deeper, take this apart a little bit more and double check as much as I can. All of these parts that I've got laid out in front of me are mostly to do with the hydraulics and the actual sort of mechanism. That should be sliding in and out of there really nice and smooth, and look at that. I've got a few potions here that are going to help me along this journey to get all these parts nice and clean. First solution I've got here is a rust removing solution. The second jar I've got has got the actual release mechanisms. So that is soaking in some thinners, and I'm just trying to remove any sort of stubborn oil. This last jar is a degreaser. However, none of these processes are actually going to help me with this part. Some O-rings and some seals that run against that and they slide along it. That needs to be mirror polished. So shiny, I can see my face in it. If I can get all of these other components looking as shiny as that, I'll be a happy man. I am very happy to report that all of the pieces of the jack have been completely sandblasted and stripped back to the bare metal. I've had a good look over them and there is no damage, nothing really major at all. So I've gone ahead and put a coat of primer over them, which is going to stop it from going rusty and give me a really good foundation for the top coat of paint. Georgie and Bev have so many memories of this jack, so before I stripped all of these pieces, I've made sure that I colour matched the red. So I'm completely confident now that the red that I've got is just perfect. Just look at this beautiful tray of pristine parts. All of those different processes for cleaning all these components has paid off. I've been looking to make sure there's no cracks, no damage, and most importantly on these moving parts, that there's no real scoring and pitting. But I'm very pleased to say that all of these are absolutely fine. So the main reason why this jack wasn't working is this little seal. It's had its day. That is not something that you can get very easily. So I have actually had to go and have one made. And look at that, it's perfect. Now I've got that new seal, I've got everything I need, I can start to reassemble it.
In his corner of the barn, Brenton's done a sterling job straightening the Shabbat candlesticks from top to bottom, leaving one final task to complete.
I'm going to put some felt on the bottom so that when Lisa puts the candlesticks on a piece of furniture, it won't scratch them. I've got a sticky-backed felt, which is a nice dark red colour, which I think will look really, really good on these. That looks fantastic now with the felt on the bottom, the sterling silver. I think Lisa's going to be really happy to use these for her Friday night dinners. I've just got one more to do and then they're ready to go back.
These century-old silver candlesticks survived the Blitz, and despite their damaged state, were used every week by Lisa's grandparents to welcome in the Sabbath. Now Lisa's back, accompanied by her mother Estelle, both hoping to revive this tradition for generations to come.
I'm really looking forward to see what Brenton's done with the candlesticks.
I can't wait to see them, how they're going to look now.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello.
I'm Brenton.
I'm Estelle.
Hello, Estelle.
Hello.
Hi, Estelle.
Hello.
I'm Kirsten. Lovely
Nice
to meet
see you.
Lisa, you've never seen these candlesticks undamaged, have you?
No, I haven't.
No.
Well, I haven't seen them undamaged since before the war. They're always bright and lovely, and it would be nice to see them repaired again, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wowzers.
Oh,
My God.
they look brand new.
Gosh.
I want them back. I can't
Beautiful.
believe that's the same candlestick.
I know.
She's checking Brenton.
I know, I know.
You're a magician.
Don't know about that.
They're amazing. Wow, thank you. Thank you so much.
Takes me back to my childhood, pre-war, you know? And my mother always used to like them Friday nights. And brings back very happy memories. It really does.
Lisa, where are these going to go?
Candlesticks are going to live in the dining room, and then Mum is coming to stay with us for a while.
I shall light them next Friday.
Next Friday.
Next Friday will
Lovely.
be their inaugural lighting,
I will.
and we're going to have a Friday night dinner, and it will go on from there.
Lovely.
Lisa, thank you for bringing the candlesticks for me to fix, and I hope you enjoy them.
Will, thank you so much. Thank you.
Lovely to meet you, Estelle. Yeah.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Thank
the candles.
Okay.
Bye
I'll
bye.
take the candles.
All right.
I want them back. That's what I think of them.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it was far beyond anything I could have ever imagined. I think in the future, if I can bear to part with them, I'll give them to my daughter for her to hand on to her own children.
Yes, keep up the tradition, yeah.
From one metal miracle to another, Dom's revamp of the 50s car jack is motoring towards the final lap.
Before Bev gets her hands on it and starts jacking things up at home, I need to make sure that it's working absolutely perfectly. I'm not putting any major weight on it yet. I'm just running it through a few cycles up and down, just to bed those seals in, remove any air from the system, and make sure everything's working as it should be. Which actually, it seems to be, which I'm very, very pleased and relieved to say. Look how nice that action is, with no weight at all on the end. Perfect. It's been a long time since it's done that. So smooth as well. I've got the cover plate to put on, the all-important handle, and then that's it. That's pretty much it. I think I'm done. Ready for Bev to have a go.
For decades, this vintage jack was put through its paces by Bev's father at their family-run campsite. Hoping its renovation will transport her back to a treasured time in her childhood, Bev has returned with daughter Georgie.
The car jack is so special to me because I always used to go with my dad when he had jobs to do with it and stand on the end of it and have a ride up and down. It was precious times, and it'll just be lovely to see it again and to take it home and treasure it.
Bev, hi. Georgie, nice to see you both.
Nice to see you as well, Dom.
Welcome back. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm slightly nervous, if I'm honest.
So am I.
How are you guys feeling?
Excited.
Excited? Yeah,
very
good.
excited to see it, yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Obviously, you know, your jack is underneath this. It was in quite a state when you brought it in.
Yes, I was a bit embarrassed about that afterwards. I didn't realise how rusty and chunk of metal it had become.
Do you want to see?
Yes, please.
Love to.
Yes,
Go
can't
on
wait
then.
any longer.
Love to.
That's unrecognisable. Oh my goodness. You really worked magic on that. Oh, look at it.
Wow.
I should stand on there.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, that is amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Dom, that is just...
Oh, that is incredible. That's definitely not going back in the garage. Gonna have to go somewhere on show. Just incredible.
Where's it going to go? What are you going to do with it?
We'll live in the living room for a little while and
yeah.
till we find the right place for it.
Good.
But it will be loved and treasured for a lot longer now, so thank you so much.
What do you think Dad would say now if you could see it?
He would be absolutely over the moon.
Yeah, he would.
really would. And he was so proud of the work he did and the family and everything that he stood for. So, yeah, he would have absolutely been over the moon with that. He really would.
But one last thing. Do you want to have one ride on it? Just quickly. Do you want to jack your mum up? Come on. God, I've made you a little platform. You don't have to teach her on the top.
Oh, my God. This is so funny.
There you
Right.
go.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Over to
Go
you.
for it.
Go on.
Right, here we go. Gus.
Oh,
Oh,
Tom,
that's
this is
amazing.
crazy. Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Oh.
Oh, that's great.
Well, there we go.
Love
That's
it.
such great fun.
Oh, I'll be doing that more often now. Thank you,
Absolutely.
that's great.
I'm glad you like it. Grab the door and I'll grab the
Lovely.
jack.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely. Seeing the car jack now, it just takes me straight back to childhood, really, and all the happy times that we had riding up and down on it.
Can't stop smiling.
No, I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't be more pleased with it. I'm so happy. It's just lovely, and it'd be nice to take it home and enjoy it.